free, and enjoy more of what the world has to offer in this action one, because this is where most human beings screw the pooch.
So a little one-person trampoline, very
I screen shared it. Like, there's no excuse. Like, phone numbers are just out there. You just got to pick up the phone, smile, and dial. So. Good morning, and welcome back to another episode of the Talk to Tara Morning Show, where we go over tips, tricks, exercises, and ideas to help you. I slipped up there a little bit this morning. To help you become the absolute best version of yourself, not only for yourself, but for the people that you love and care about most. Personal development. We're all about getting better here. And this morning we have a fun little topic. Well, not really fun, but I had a fire at one of my rental properties. It sucked, but there were some good learning lessons, and I thought it'd be some good content to share with others. As many of you know, gone back and forth, I've talked about my rental properties, our portfolio that my girlfriend and I have, and I'm definitely streamlined with my education company. I give way more attention and effort to that versus the rental properties. But we do really like real estate, and we do really like investing in real estate on the side. So it's when these things come up, I think there's just always a lot of learning lessons. I'd be lying to say I'm any type of master with real estate. I'm just willing to buy and willing to learn. And that's one of my favorite things about real estate, is that if you can find good tenants and you can do a good job of searching for good properties and getting a good price initially, it's usually pretty forgiving. And especially a few takeaways that we've had, such as like having good cash reserves and talking to insurance companies and stuff like that. That's what we're going to go over today. So again, my rental property caught on fire, which absolutely sucked, but that's okay because we have insurance. But how much the insurance covered was not as much as I thought it was going to. And now I learned a lot more of the process. I have a couple insurance guys. I'm actually considering switching over my insurance to a different company, because the process of getting the money back was very good. But overall, there was a few things that with the coverage and how much I'm paying wasn't super great. But it's also, inflation has really hit the insurance policies, and the price of insurance for rental properties has gone up quite a bit. So having to figure out that whole, like, how much coverage am I getting? What's good? So let's go ahead and let's go to the board for episode 203. Let's jump on there. Let's go over a few learning lessons I had that maybe you could prepare for with your own investments and see if it can be helpful for you. Good morning, everyone. It is episode 203, as you can see in our handy dandy corner, episode 203, by God. So rental property. First big key takeaway when it comes to, so again, the story is furnace caught on fire, absolutely destroyed. It is the middle of winter. It is, I don't know I'm pretty sure it's like 2 degrees outside. Your tenants got to have heat in the Midwest. So number one is having cash reserves. Cash reserves. So thankfully, with how much the insurance is paying out to help to replace it, I'm getting a whole new system. Well, it's already done. It's already in there. And we'll talk about the payments here in a minute, but the cash has already been out, and we already had it to prepare for these things. People call this CapEx. CapEx in real estate. These are just reserves that you take away. It's a percentage. So go ahead and put a percentage on here. It's a percentage of the rent every month that goes and is stored into the account for when things like this break or the furnace has. So number one, the biggest lesson that I got to learn, this is kind of the bit first big expense I've really had. I've had a couple hoarder tenants, and my girlfriend and I had to clean out this disgusting units, like the whole 9 yards, trash up to your eyeballs, poop everywhere, not good. And we've definitely, we've had our share of stories, but with this one, this was by far the biggest abrupt bill that I've ever been slapped with, because it was over $7,000 that we're having to pay for this thing, which sucks. But at the same time, I got windows in a new property and I've gotten a roof done and stuff, and that was a little bit more than this. But this was more of like, it is Tuesday and bam, you have to pay this right now because you have to get heat in your property. So, and those expenses, even though they're not as high, they're just like, oh shit, I have to pay all that money like right now. We got to figure this out. Thankfully, I had so much help, and shout out to my girlfriend and my mom, and just to like a bunch of other, and a few of my other handy dandy friends, a couple, David Snow and Dave Gattermile. These people helped me out a lot through the process, figuring out what to do. So shout out to you guys. But back to the main rule, number one, if with rental property, I would highly suggest making sure you have adequate cash reserves, if especially you have older systems. Okay. So older systems, meaning like, do you have an older furnace? Do you have an older roof? Do you have an older windows? Do you have older siding? Do you have like, what on the property is probably going to need to be replaced? And then just assume that you're going to get screwed. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst, right? So just having older systems, such as this furnace was pretty old, and that's why insurance didn't kick me out that much money. So under the insurance, let's go to point number 2. Know your policy. Know your policy. So when it comes to the insurance, there's a few things that a few big terms that you probably are really going to want to know, and definitely talk to an insurance expert. I don't sell insurance. I'm not sponsored by insurance. If anyone wants to partner with me with insurance and give me a discount for my rentals, please, let's do it. Let's rock and roll. We'll make a one-page life plan, and we'll get some insurance done. But you want to talk to an insurance professional is my point, not me. And the big takeaways I'd really look for is replacement, and depreciation. Stretching out. Okay. Replacement and depreciation. Replacement's going to pay for the whole thing to get it replaced, and depreciation is going to take how old and beat up it is, and then they're going to give you a fraction of what it's worth. So I have depreciation because it's way cheaper, like not even close. It is way cheaper than replacement cost. So if when the furnace caught on fire, and I should have brought the pictures up on here because it looks kind of cool because it's all melted. No one got hurt, totally fine, but it does look kind of cool. If I would have had replacement coverage, they would have replaced the whole thing. They would have paid me the $7,000 to get it fixed and all this stuff, and it would have been good to go. But I had depreciation, so they had to take how old the furnace was, and then they subtract that for how much they're going to pay you. So you get what you pay for. That's one needs to be noted down. Get what you pay for. I'm just writing, you get what you pay. Get what you pay. So remember that in the insurance game, insurance is, I think, one of the most genius business plans that's ever been made, ever. That's why they have trillions of dollars. The whole concept of, insurance, they got it going on. I hate insurance companies because you got to pay them a ton of money, and then unless you pay them ungodly amounts of money, then they don't fix anything. And I'm a bit of a cranky old man attitude when it comes to insurance, so don't listen to me too much. But just understand that you get what you pay for, and I pay for cheaper insurance. So I put more money away for capital expenditures. I have to increase that amount. So when these types of things happen, we're not totally just effed because we don't have any cash, and the insurance companies aren't going to cover that. So understand the policy that goes with the property is where I'm leaning a lot more towards. It's like, okay, this furnace was over 20 years old. It's actually a boiler, but it has radiant heat throughout the house. But it was over 20 years old. It was really old. It needed to be replaced and all this and that. So it ended up working out okay because I did get some coverage in insurance. They did pay me like $1,600 out of the seven grand. So I wasn't totally responsible for all the costs, which is okay, and get it taken care of. But also, I'm not paying them egregious amounts of money every single month because I replaced the windows. It's got a newer roof. We take care of the property. We go over and we check on it pretty frequently. So it's kind of weighing your pros and cons of what you want to do. And again, that's talk to an insurance professional. But this is just an investor's perspective on it. You know, of course, the insurance guy is going to be like, oh, get triple, quadruple, mega coverage and pay $1,000 a month. It's like, no, I'm trying to see what the property needs and like in my area. If you have a property in Florida, I would probably get flood insurance. But if I have a property here, then I'll probably take my chances. And the only chance you're going to get a flood in my area is if you have a sewer backup, which I did have. And it turns out for sewer maintenance, you gotta have someone go in there and excavate and make sure there's no tree roots, and you got to do that every other year. I didn't know that either. So maybe the point is for this whole episode is you're gonna learn as you go, and if you're not a pro, don't worry about it, because if you have cash reserves, you can pay a lot of people to help teach you what the hell you need to do. That can always save your ass. And also shout out to my family and my girlfriend and everyone who helps me, because having people who understand it and can help you is very helpful as well. So shout out to my dogs, cash reserves, and then knowing your policy before crap goes down, because that's a great way to have a super stressful day. So my focus is my education company that I'm building out, the one-page life plan. I don't want to be running around nonstop, going to the rentals, making sure things are okay, and then pulling in a bunch of different directions. I don't think I'm going to get my books done. I don't think I'm going to get my courses made. I don't think I'm going to get enough clients from my education company if I'm not focused, if that makes sense. So know your policy, set things in place. Man, if I could, we should probably put that down here. 3, list. Just the word list. So make a list of the people who you are going to need to contact, the people who you're going to need to contact. So if a furnace goes out, who do you call? If you have a sewer backed up, who do you call? These are a few things that I was pretty terrible at. I waited until the problem came, and then I'm calling. I was over at my mom's house having coffee, and because I went to the rentals, and my mom's house is like right next to the rentals that my girlfriend and I own. And it was too early. It was like 6 a.m, so I had to wait until other businesses were open. I'm over there having coffee, and I'm just calling people, getting quote after quote after quote after quote. It's like, okay, what's that cost? What can you do? What's that cost? What can you do? And, after you do that, it's as it's done, it wasn't that stressful, but you know how life can get when you're in this, and you got other work responsibilities. Like I had 2 coaching sessions at 9 and 10 o'clock in the morning, and I'm over there at 8. I'm still in the sewer, like shoveling turds out of my basement. So you can see how it gets a little crazy, and you got to have people who can come in and help you out, and you got to plan that ahead of time. So I really recommend having a referral list of people who you can call. But yeah, that would That's definitely what I've learned from personal experience and have caused a little extra stress, a little higher blood pressure than I want. But I'm also learning that, man, rule number one, you got to be prepared, have some cash reserves, and especially in this market when people don't have a lot of money. You might have some higher turnovers, or it might be a little harder to find good tenants who can afford your places. So have the balance. These are some key takeaways. I again talk to your insurance, your own insurance to figure out what your policy offers and go through the details of that. And if you get cut rate insurance, if you want to cut the cost, just be prepared to pay for any replacement thing fully yourself. Or if you want to pay some high-end insurance company through the roof and then have peace of mind, that can also work too. That's up for you to decide. I'm somewhere in the middle. That's where I like to be, but again, not an insurance pro. Okay, rental property story done. My furnace caught on fire. I hope this was helpful and kind of learning in our own experiences as my girlfriend and I. We're gonna have one of our rental properties be up and available for rent here shortly. At the beginning of March, we'll have a nice, cute little single-family home that'll be available for rent. I'm excited about getting that sucker ready and raising the rent on that. But other than that, we're cruising pretty good on the real estate stuff. So now it's time to get back to work to the coaching. I'm out of here. My rental property caught on fire, episode 203. You guys all have an amazing, wonderful, fun-filled Wednesday. Happy hump day to you all. I am out of here. I got to get back to work. Cheers, friends. Until next time, I'll see you in the morning, bright and early, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow morning, Thursday. Cheers. I'm out.